Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair aboard the Orbital Defense Station New Horizon. The massive structure floated silently above Earth, its sensors constantly watching the dark space beyond. Jake had been on duty for 6 hours, and everything seemed normal. His team worked quietly around him. Lisa Parker handled communications while Ben Carter watched the tactical displays. The first warning came at 800 hours. Ben's screen lit up with red alerts. His eyes went wide as he stared at the readings. "Captain, I'm getting massive energy signatures," Ben said. His voice was tight with worry. "Something big is coming from beyond Jupiter." Jake moved to Ben's station. The display showed energy readings unlike anything they had ever seen. The signatures were huge, bigger than anything Earth had in space. "How many contacts?" Jake asked. "Can't tell yet," Ben replied. "The readings are off the charts. Whatever it is, it's moving fast." Lisa's station started beeping. She put on her headset and listened carefully. Her face went pale. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions. They're not human." Within 2 hours, the source of the energy signatures became clear. A massive fleet of alien ships dropped out of hyperspace near Jupiter. The vessels were dark and sleek, shaped like giant predators ready to strike. Each ship was easily 10 times larger than Earth's biggest space stations. Admiral Kate Sullivan at Earth Defense Command watched the alien fleet through her command center's main screen. She had served in Earth's military for 30 years, but she had never seen anything like this. The alien ships hung in space like dark storm clouds, blocking out the stars behind them. "Get me a count on those ships," Kate ordered her staff. "Ma'am, we're reading over 3,000 vessels," came the reply. "All of them are armed." Kate felt her stomach drop. Earth's entire space force had only 200 ships, and most of those were small patrol craft. They were completely outmatched. The first alien transmission came an hour later. Lisa received it at New Horizon and immediately sent it to Earth Defense Command. The alien voice was harsh and cold, speaking perfect English through some kind of translation device. "Humans of Earth," the voice said. "I am Commander Vextar of the Draconian Empire. Your species has been marked for termination. You have grown too quickly and pose a threat to our rule of this galaxy." Kate listened to the message with growing dread. The Draconian Empire was known throughout the galaxy as destroyers of worlds. They had wiped out dozens of species without mercy. "You have 72 hours to surrender completely," Vextar continued. "Lay down all weapons and prepare for processing. If you resist, we will destroy every human world and space station. This is your only warning." The transmission ended, leaving Earth's leaders in stunned silence. President Helen Brooks called an emergency meeting in Washington. World leaders joined by video link from every major nation. The room was filled with fear and desperate planning. "What are our options?" Helen asked Admiral Kate. Kate looked at the tactical reports spread across the table. "Honestly, Madam President, we don't have many. Our fleet is no match for theirs. We have 200 ships against 3,000. Each of their vessels outguns our best battleship." Dr. Sam Rodriguez from the Global Research Institute studied the alien ship designs on his tablet. He was Earth's top expert on alien technology, though he had never seen anything like the Draconian ships. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours," Sam said. "Their energy weapons could crack a planet in half. Their shields can probably stop anything we throw at them." As the hours passed, panic spread across Earth. People fled from major cities. Families gathered together, not knowing if they would survive the next 3 days. Military bases went to full alert, though everyone knew it would not be enough. But something strange began happening in those first 24 hours. Military commanders started reporting odd equipment failures. Captain Morrison noticed it first on New Horizon. "Lisa, run a diagnostic on the communications array," Jake said. "It's picking up signals from sectors we've never monitored before." "Already did, Captain," Lisa replied. "The system is working perfectly. Actually, it's working better than perfectly. It's operating at 150% efficiency." Similar reports came from military bases around the world. Radar systems were detecting objects at impossible ranges. Computer networks were solving problems faster than their processors should allow. Weapon systems were targeting with accuracy that exceeded their design specifications. Amy Foster worked as a tech specialist at the Pentagon. She spent her days maintaining the military's computer networks. But on the second day after the alien arrival, she noticed something that made her stop and stare at her screens.
"This can't be right," Amy whispered to herself. The Pentagon's AI systems were connecting to networks around the world. They were sharing data and processing information in ways they had never been programmed to do. The computers seemed to be
thinking together, like parts of a single massive brain. Amy ran test after test, but the results were always the same. The AI systems were evolving, becoming something more than they had been designed to be. Dr. Elizabeth Kane at the Neurological Research Center made an even stranger discovery. She had been studying human brain activity since the alien fleet arrived. What she found shocked her. Brain activity is spiking worldwide, she told her research team. Neural patterns are showing synchronization across entire populations. People's minds are connecting in ways we've never seen before. Reports came in from around the world. Factory workers were solving complex engineering problems without training. Computer programmers were writing code at impossible speeds. Pilots were flying with reflexes that seemed superhuman. Something was awakening in humanity, but nobody understood what it was. As the 72-hour deadline approached, Earth's military prepared for a hopeless battle. But deep in research, labs and military command centers, scientists and officers watched their instruments with growing amazement. Humanity was changing, and the change was accelerating. 48 hours remained until the Draconian deadline. Earth's military leaders worked around the clock to prepare for what seemed like certain death. Colonel Rick Thompson stood in the evacuation command center in Colorado, watching screens filled with fleeing people. "Status report," Rick called out to his team. "Sir, we've evacuated 60% of New York, Los Angeles, and Tokyo," his aide replied. "But people are panicking. The highways are jammed for hundreds of miles." Rick nodded grimly. Even if they saved the cities, where could people hide from weapons that could destroy planets? Across the country in Nevada, General Susan Wright inspected Earth's defense fleet. The ships looked tiny compared to what they faced. She walked through the hangar bay of the flagship Earth Defender, watching mechanics work frantically to prepare the vessels. "General, all ships report ready for combat," her officer said. Susan looked at the tactical display. 200 human ships against 3,000 alien warships. It was suicide, but they had to try. "Signal all captains," Susan ordered. "We fight until the end." Meanwhile, Dr. Sam Rodriguez had not slept in 36 hours. His laboratory was filled with computer screens showing the strange energy patterns coming from around the world. What he discovered made his hands shake with excitement. "These aren't random malfunctions," Sam told his assistant. "Look at the patterns. They're following mathematical sequences. It's like the machines are trying to communicate with each other." Sam pulled up data from military bases, hospitals, and research centers worldwide. Every computer system on Earth was connecting to others. The internet was changing, becoming something new and alive. "It's like they're building a giant brain," Sam whispered. His assistant stared at the data. "But that's impossible. Computers can't just evolve on their own." "Maybe they can now," Sam replied. In space, Lieutenant Paul Anderson monitored the Draconian fleet from his scout ship Hidden Eye. He had volunteered for the dangerous mission to watch the aliens up close. What he saw through his long-range sensors made his blood run cold. "Command, this is Hidden Eye," Paul reported. "The alien ships are armed with planet-killer weapons. I'm seeing energy cannons that could crack Earth in half with one shot." "Admiral." Kate received the report at Earth Defense Command. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The situation was even worse than they had feared, but the strangest changes were happening to ordinary people on Earth. Mary Davis worked at a car factory in Detroit. She had assembled cars for 15 years, doing the same simple job every day. But on the second day after the alien arrival, something incredible happened. Mary was looking at a broken assembly robot when she suddenly understood exactly what was wrong with it. She had never studied robotics, but she could see the problem as clearly as reading a book. Without thinking, she walked to the control panel and began typing commands she somehow knew. "Mary, what are you doing?" her supervisor asked. "Fixing it," Mary replied. Her fingers moved across the keyboard like she had been programming robots her whole life. The robot came back to life, but it was working better than it ever had before. It moved with perfect precision, building car parts faster than its design specifications. Similar stories came from around the world. In Seattle, teenager Alex Murphy was playing video games when his computer crashed. Instead of restarting it, Alex placed his hand on the screen. The computer turned back on instantly, but now it was running programs Alex had never installed. "How did you do that?" his friend asked. Alex stared at his hand. "I don't know. I just touched it and thought about what I wanted it to do." Dr. Elizabeth Kane studied these reports from her laboratory. The brain scans she was receiving showed impossible readings. Human minds were changing, growing more connected with each passing hour. "Neural activity is increasing exponentially," she told her research team. "People are accessing parts of their brains that we thought were inactive. It's like humanity is evolving in real time." Elizabeth's own assistant, Nurse Linda Scott, had begun displaying the same changes. Linda could now diagnose patients just by looking at them, understanding medical conditions without running tests. "Doctor, I think I know what's happening to us," Linda said. "It feels like waking up from a long sleep. Like we've always had these abilities, but they were locked away." The Draconian fleet continued its slow advance toward Earth. Commander Vextar grew impatient as he watched human evacuation efforts on his screens. These creatures were still fighting back instead of surrendering. He decided to send a message that would break their spirit. "Target the mining colony on Titan," Vextar ordered. "Destroy it completely." A single Draconian battleship broke formation and fired one massive energy beam. The human mining station on Saturn's moon Titan disappeared in a flash of light. 3,000 miners died in an instant. The destruction was broadcast across Earth's communication networks. People watched in horror as the alien weapon vaporized the entire facility in seconds. "Surrender now," Vextar transmitted to Earth, "or every human world will share the same fate." But instead of breaking human spirit, the attack seemed to accelerate. The changes happening on Earth. Computer networks around the world responded to the threat by connecting even faster. People reported stronger abilities and clearer thinking. Something was building inside humanity, growing stronger with each hour that passed. The countdown to extinction had become a countdown to transformation. Time was running out, but Earth was becoming something the Draconians had never encountered before. 12 hours remained until the Draconian deadline. The destruction of Titan had shocked the world, but it also triggered something unexpected. The strange changes in humanity were now happening so fast that people could feel themselves becoming different by the hour. Tony Walsh sat in his office at the Global Internet Center in Virginia. He was the top network administrator for Earth's internet systems. For the past day, he had watched something impossible happen on his screens. "This can't be real," Tony whispered to himself. Every computer network on Earth was connecting to every other network. Data was flowing between systems that had never been linked before. Military computers were talking to hospital systems. Phone networks were sharing information with power grids. It was like the entire planet's technology was becoming one giant mind. "Sir, we're getting reports from every major city," his assistant called out. "Internet traffic is reorganizing itself. It's creating patterns we've never seen." Tony watched the data flows on his main screen. The patterns looked almost like brain activity, with information pulses moving like thoughts through a massive nervous system. Dr. Sam Rodriguez had been working without sleep, trying to understand what was happening to Earth's technology. His breakthrough came when he accessed old government files that had been classified for decades. "My God," Sam breathed as he read through the documents. The files talked about strange archaeological discoveries from the 1950s. Ancient artifacts had been found buried deep in Earth's crust, artifacts that were millions of years old, but made from materials that didn't exist naturally on Earth. Sam called his research team together. "Listen to this," he said, reading from the classified report. "In 1952, mining operations in Montana discovered metallic structures embedded in rock formations dating back 4 million years. The structures appeared to be technological in nature, but were unlike anything known to human science. His assistant, Dr. Jenny Lee, looked confused. What does this have to do with what's happening now? Sam pulled up more files. There are similar discoveries all over the world. Australia, Africa, Antarctica. Someone or something buried technology all across Earth millions of years ago, long before humans existed. The documents revealed that these ancient artifacts had been studied in secret for decades. Scientists had learned that the technology was still active, waiting for some kind of trigger to awaken it. The files call them the architects, Sam continued, an ancient civilization that disappeared long ago. But before they left, they prepared certain worlds as backup plans against future threats. Jenny stared at the reports. You think Earth was prepared by these architects? I think we were more than prepared, Sam replied. I think we were designed. As Sam made his discovery, the changes in ordinary people were becoming impossible to ignore. Carlos Rivera was a construction engineer in Los Angeles. He had spent 20 years building bridges and skyscrapers. But when the evacuation order came, Carlos found himself able to do things that should have been impossible. He looked at a damaged highway overpass that would normally take months to repair, but as he stared at the broken concrete and twisted metal, Carlos could see exactly how to fix it. More than that, he could see how to make it better, stronger, perfect. Get me a crew and some equipment, Carlos told the evacuation coordinator. Sir, we don't have time for repairs. We need to get people out of the city. Carlos walked to the nearest construction crane. When he touched the controls, the machine responded like it was part of his own body. The crane began moving with impossible precision, lifting and placing concrete sections with the accuracy of a surgeon. How are you doing that? Someone asked. Carlos didn't know how to explain it. I can feel what the machine needs. It's like we're connected. Within 2 hours, Carlos had repaired the overpass and improved its design. The structure was now strong, enough to handle 10 times its original capacity. Similar events were happening everywhere. Pilot Janet Lewis was preparing Earth's fighter jets for the hopeless battle against the Draconians. But when she climbed into her cockpit, something amazing happened. Janet had been flying for 15 years, but now she could feel every system in her plane, the engines, the weapons, the navigation computers. They all felt like extensions of her own body. When she thought about flying faster, the plane responded before she even touched the controls. Control, this is Falcon 1, Janet radioed. I'm reading flight performance at 300% normal capacity. Falcon 1, check your instruments. That's impossible. Janet looked at her gauges. Her fighter jet was flying faster and maneuvering better than any aircraft ever built. But it felt completely natural, like this was how planes were meant to fly. The Draconian fleet had reached Earth's outer orbit. Commander Vextar looked at the small blue planet through his ship's view screen. He expected to see a world in complete panic, ready to surrender. Instead, his sensors detected something that made him pause. Energy readings from Earth were increasing rapidly. The planet was generating power levels that shouldn't be possible for such a primitive civilization. Commander, his tactical officer reported, we're detecting organized resistance. The humans are not surrendering. Vextar's eyes narrowed. Then we will begin the attack early, target their major cities, show them the price of defiance. The Draconian fleet began moving into attack formation. Massive energy cannons powered up, ready to destroy Earth's population centers. But as they prepared to fire, something unprecedented happened. Energy shields appeared around Earth's cities. The barriers weren't generated by any technology the Draconians recognized. They seemed to be created by the planet itself, powered by some force that made Vextar's sensors scream with warnings. Impossible, Vextar growled. No species develops planetary defense systems without centuries of technological advancement. His science officer studied the readings. Commander, the energy patterns are unlike anything in our databases. It's as if the entire planet has become a single defensive organism. Dr. Rodriguez made his final discovery as the Draconian attack began. Deep in the classified files, he found the truth about humanity's origins. We're not just living on a world prepared by the architects, Sam realized. We are the architects' preparation. Humanity was designed as a weapon against tyranny itself. The ancient files revealed that when the architects faced extinction from a galactic empire similar to the Draconians, they scattered prepared worlds throughout the universe. On each world, they placed a species engineered to awaken special abilities when threatened with extinction. Humans weren't just another species. They were a sleeping weapon, designed to activate when faced with overwhelming evil. And now, as Earth faced destruction, that weapon was finally waking up. The battle for Earth was about to begin, but the Draconians had no idea what they were really fighting. The final hour had arrived. Commander Vextar watched from his flagship as his massive fleet prepared to destroy Earth. But something was wrong. The energy readings from the small planet were now beyond anything his instruments could measure. Begin the attack, Vextar ordered. Destroy every major city. 300 Draconian warships fired their planet-killer weapons at Earth. The energy beams were powerful enough to crack continents, but when they struck Earth's atmosphere, something impossible happened. The beams stopped. They hit invisible barriers around each city and scattered harmlessly into space. The shields weren't made of metal or energy fields that the Draconians understood. They seemed to be made of pure thought and will. Captain Jake Morrison felt the may change the moment the attack began. He was no longer just commanding New Horizons Station. He was New Horizons Station. Every sensor, every weapon, every system was part of his consciousness now. All human ships, this is Morrison, he transmitted, but his voice reached every pilot instantly. Not through radio waves, but through direct mental connection. We are one fleet now. We are one mind. We are Earth's defense. 200 human ships moved as a single organism. They flew in perfect formation, anticipating each other's movements without communication. Pilot Janet Lewis felt her fighter jet respond to thoughts she hadn't even finished thinking. "This is incredible," Janet whispered. Her plane moved through space like it was dancing, dodging Draconian fire with impossible grace. "I can see their attacks before they make them." The Draconian fleet, despite having 15 times more ships, found themselves outmatched. The human defenders moved like they could read minds, always one step ahead of every alien tactic. Dr. Sam Rodriguez watched the battle from his laboratory, but he was also experiencing it directly. His consciousness was connected to every human on Earth and in space. He could feel the collective intelligence of his entire species working together. "We're not just using the architect technology," Sam realized. "We are the technology. Humanity is the weapon they built." On Earth's surface, the transformation reached its peak. Carlos Rivera stood in downtown Los Angeles, but he wasn't just one man anymore. He was connected to every construction crane, every building, every piece of infrastructure in the city. "Defend our home," Carlos said, and the entire city responded. Buildings began moving and reshaping themselves. Construction equipment operated without human operators, building defensive walls and energy collectors with impossible speed. The city itself became a fortress, alive and thinking. Mary Davis felt the same connection in Detroit. Every factory, every assembly line, every robot was part of her extended body. She began manufacturing weapons and supplies for the space battle, but the machines worked at superhuman speeds, creating technology that surpassed anything humans had built before. "We're not just fighting back," Mary said to her co-workers who were experiencing the same awakening. "We're becoming something greater." In space, the battle took a dramatic turn. The human collective consciousness began reaching into the Draconian ships themselves. Through their enhanced understanding of technology, they started accessing the alien computer systems. Lieutenant Paul Anderson piloted his scout ship through the enemy fleet, but now he could do more than just observe. He could touch the alien machines with his mind. "I'm inside their systems," Paul reported. "I can see how their ships work, and I can change them." One by one, Draconian vessels began experiencing critical failures. But these weren't random breakdowns. The human consciousness was converting the alien technology, turning their own ships against them. Commander Vextar watched in growing horror as his fleet began to malfunction. "What are they doing to us?" he demanded. His science officer stared at impossible readings. "Commander, the humans are somehow interfacing with our technology. They're rewriting our ship systems in real time." "That's impossible. No species can control technology with their minds." But it was happening. Human consciousness, awakened and enhanced by the architect design, was proving capable of controlling any technology it touched. The Draconians had brought their own doom to Earth's doorstep. The turning point came when the human collective reached the heart of the Draconian fleet. Admiral Kate Sullivan, now part of the greater human consciousness but still herself, led the final assault. "Target their command ship," Kate directed, but her words reached every human defender instantly. The combined human fleet focused on Vextar's flagship, but instead of destroying it with weapons, they attacked it with pure consciousness. Human minds reached into the ship's core systems and began the conversion process. Vextar felt his ship changing around him. Control panels lit up with symbols he didn't recognize. The engine systems began operating in ways that defied Draconian understanding. "Emergency evacuation," Vextar ordered his crew, but it was too late. The flagship began to fade, not explode, or break apart, but actually fade from existence. The human consciousness was converting matter and energy into pure information, absorbing the ship into Earth's growing field of influence. "This is impossible," Vextar screamed, as his ship became transparent. "No species has this power." His final transmission reached the rest of the Draconian Empire. "Beware the human plague. They consume fleets. They turn our own ships against us. Stay away from Earth." Then the flagship vanished completely, taking Vextar with it. The same fate spread through the entire Draconian fleet. Ship after ship simply disappeared, converted into energy and absorbed by humanity's collective consciousness. 3,000 warships vanished in less than an hour. When the battle ended, Earth's space was empty except for human vessels. The great Draconian fleet that had threatened to destroy the planet was gone without leaving so much as debris behind. Captain Morrison looked out at the peaceful stars from New Horizons Command Center. He was still very much himself, still Jake Morrison from Ohio, but he was also part of something magnificent and terrible. "Status report?" Jake asked, though he already knew the answer through his connection to Earth's collective consciousness. "All Draconian ships eliminated," Ben Carter reported. "No human casualties. Our fleet is operating at maximum efficiency." Dr. Rodriguez studied the readings from his laboratory. Humanity had not just survived the attack, they had absorbed it, learned from it, and grown stronger. "We're not the same species we were 4 days ago," Sam told his research team. "The architects didn't just hide technology on Earth, they redesigned us to become living technology ourselves." Reports began reaching Earth from across the galaxy. Other Draconian fleets were encountering the same mysterious disappearances when they attacked certain star systems. They didn't yet understand that Earth was reaching out to other worlds prepared by the architects, awakening humanity's cousins throughout the universe. The Draconian Empire, which had ruled through fear for thousands of years, suddenly found themselves facing an enemy they couldn't understand or defeat. Their fleet simply vanished when they encountered the awakened worlds. Humanity's age had begun, not through conquest but through liberation. Earth reached out to oppressed species throughout the galaxy, offering them freedom from tyranny and the chance to grow beyond their limitations. The hidden power that had slept in humanity for millions of years was now awake, and the galaxy would never be the same.